Now on CoastTV News.
The wet pattern continues for Delmarva. We've seen heavy rain overnight. Not as heavy throughout the day, but still a chance of scattered showers and storms into Saturday.
Lawn work is in your future.
I think it is after we get rid of all this rain.
No, Bob. Matt does not like to do lawn work.
I do not like it.
See, my dad says that lawn work is like his therapy, but for you, it is not.
Do not like it, Bob.
No.
Matt, we're getting the camera out. We're going to be videoing your lawn chores as we head through the week. We're going to have to find a dry spot to do that because, boy, what a deluge overnight. As previous meteorologists used to say, it was a frog choker, and it sure was. A lot of rain, over an inch of rain in some places. But now just scattered showers near Farmington to Milton and Lewis right now. The rest of Sussex County has dried out. It's kind of cloudy, a little foggy. Salisbury to the coast right now, and the eastern shore seeing a few sprinkles with heavier rain off of Delmarva. And we're seeing that heavy rain now moving into Philly and points north. But over us and then points southwest, it is drying out a little bit. And I think we'll see some peaks of sun and more humidity as low pressure is swirling across North Carolina and the Ohio Valley, keeping our weather pretty unsettled. 60s out the door, and the winds were really strong overnight along the coast, but they're beginning to back off now as we're looking at the clouds. Some of that fog this morning was 60s, but I think we could see some sun this afternoon, warming into the 70s inland areas, and maybe a few showers and storms as we go into the evening hours. And for the kiddos off to the bus stop, watch out for the big puddles and watch for limited visibility with some fog with cloudy skies. 64 off to school, and then 75 heading home, and maybe some peaks of sun.
Bob, our top story this half hour, we are getting unofficial results from Tuesday's Delaware school board elections in the Cape Henlopen School District. It appears Bill Collick will keep his at-large seat. Collick has worked in education for nearly 5 years, and he has served as the at-large board member in Cape since 2020. Earlier, we spoke to Collick about this election.
It's a great feeling, having grown up here, having gone to school here, having been in the first graduating class. And then I always say the opportunity to come back and continue the work that you want to get done and see get done. I look at it as a great opportunity to help kids. I still believe that adults need to be supporters of kids in school.
The unofficial results show Collick defeating Chris Lovenguth by more than 2,000 votes.
For Cape Henlopen's District C, it was Patty Mall with the most votes. It was a three-person race between Mall, Laura Parsons, and Andy Lewis. Mall received about 2,000 votes, followed by Parsons with about 1,500 and Lewis with just over 500. Mall says she's planning to focus big on mental health.
There was one contested race in Woodbridge. Let's take a look at those results from Tuesday. This is for the district's at-large seat, and Timothy Banks defeated LaToya Harris. Banks received over 77% of the vote.
There will also be some new faces on the Indian River School Board. Unofficial results show Lisa Hudson-Briggs won the race for that district seat, and it was the only contested race. For District 2, Jerry Peden Jr. ran unopposed, and Michelle Parsons ran unopposed for District 4.
And also happening today in the Indian River District, a public meeting on a second referendum. District officials making another attempt at getting it approved. It'll be back up for a vote on June 5th after being shot down in its first attempt 2 months ago. The first of 3 public meetings is today at Millsboro Middle School. The referendum is asking voters to approve a $22.5 million in additional funding to cover operating costs and maintain competitive salaries for staff. A former employee for the school district says she just can't wrap her head around the referendum failing the first time.
That's a hard one for me to figure because to me it just seems so right to improve the schools and not make it harder for them to be improved.
Second public meeting is Wednesday, May 21st at Lord Baltimore Elementary School. The last one, Wednesday, May 28th at Indian River High School.
This just in, potential next steps in Fenwick Island's opposition to the wind farm project planned for our coast. In just a few hours, the town's environmental committee is having its first meeting since the attorneys general in Delaware and Maryland filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration. The lawsuit argues the executive order to freeze all permitting for both offshore and onshore wind projects is unconstitutional. Fenwick Island was the only Delaware coastal community to join Ocean City in a lawsuit against the Biden administration's approved plans to build that wind farm.
Now getting a live look at Delaware's capital city of Dover. The General Assembly is meeting again today, and the question surrounding Representative Stell Parker-Shelby's attendance still stands. Today, in the Delaware House of Representatives, the Transportation Committee is scheduled to debate two bills that were approved in the Senate. And Parker-Shelby is assigned to that committee. Prior to the start of this legislative session in January, Parker-Shelby made it known she had what she described as a medical event. Her district covers parts of Lewis, Milton, and Harbison.
Happening today in Milford, officials making a case to raise pay rates. According to the agenda, the Public Safety Committee will discuss a pay increase for a police captain and 3 lieutenants. This comes after Police Chief Cecilia Ash says a study on staffing and pay scale revealed the job descriptions of these positions were outdated. Chief Ash says the new job descriptions reflect accurate responsibilities and thus a pay increase should be considered.
And also in Milford today, the city is looking to convert some open land. This is the proposed design for Deep Branch Park. Milford Parks and Recreation presenting plans for it at a council workshop today. It was back in 2024. The park was part of the Annette Billings eminent domain case. You may remember that one. Billings accused the city of trying to take her land for the park. The attempt was later dropped. The parkland no longer includes any of her land, but does include her brother's land. That was willingly sold to the city. Still, she wants the application for the park pulled.
Well, for one thing, the city of Milford can't take care of what they have already, and then they want to put a park out here that can't be policed by the city of Milford. I find that a problem.
City Council workshop takes place at 6 p.m.
An investigation is underway in Lewis after police say there have been complaints of graffiti in several public areas. According to Lewis police, this includes along trails and bridges. Police say they have identified 2 suspects thought to be connected with these crimes.
Today in Dewey Beach, food trucks could be served up. Some new rules. Planning and Zoning Commission has scheduled a public hearing to discuss regulations on these businesses. Any changes will have to go before Town Council for a final approval. This meeting takes place at 5 p.m. Here is our live look at Washington, D.C. While President Trump continues his Middle East trip, Democrats back home are reacting to Qatar's gift of a luxury jumbo jet. In fact, Trump is visiting Qatar today.
As NBC's Alice Barr shows us, the president is touting deals in Saudi Arabia and ending sanctions in Syria.
President Trump meeting with leaders from the Gulf Cooperation Council in Saudi Arabia this morning as he works to strengthen business ties with the region's wealthy states. On Tuesday, announcing the Saudis are set to buy $142 billion worth of American military equipment, part of a promised $600 billion investment in the U.S.
We've launched the golden age of America. The golden age of the Middle East can proceed right alongside of us.
President Trump pushing Iran to abandon its nuclear program while ending sanctions against Syria's new government.
To give them a chance at greatness.
At the urging of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince.
Oh, what I do for the Crown Prince.
Hanging over the trip, major real estate projects the Trump organization led by the president's sons is developing in the countries he's visiting, including Qatar, where he's headed next, with controversy brewing over the Qatari government's not yet finalized offer of a luxury jet gifted to the Pentagon to serve as Air Force One, then transferred to the Trump Presidential Library at the end of his term.
I thought it was a beautiful gesture. Now, there are those that say we shouldn't be accepting gifts to the Defense Department, and I would say only a stupid person would say that.
A growing number of Republicans raising concerns about accepting a $400 million foreign gift and the costly upgrades needed for national security.
There are lots of issues around that I think will attract very serious questions if and when it happens.
The Senate's top Democrat vowing to put a hold on all judicial nominees until the Attorney General testifies about the gift's legal questions. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Happening this morning, Sussex County's local emergency planning committee expected to receive some DEMA updates. This includes the status of the hazardous materials Emergency Preparedness Grant, and the latest from the State Emergency Response Commission. That meeting is scheduled for 10 a.m. at the Delaware State Fire School in Georgetown.
You are now looking at Delaware's Stokely campus, just south of Georgetown. The Department of Health and Social Services is conducting a feasibility study to revitalize the property, which includes 23 buildings home to multiple state agencies. It will also house Sussex Central High School and Delaware State Police Troop 4. Feedback on the campus's future, including adding inpatient rehab facilities and shelters for domestic abuse victims. You can submit your own comments and suggestions until May 31st. And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, Chincoteague comeback plan, how the town is relying on history for future improvements.
Also, Blue Line Boost, the law enforcement appreciation program that resumes today in Sussex County.
And scam texts shut down the measures Google is taking to block those bogus texts about unpaid tolls. Coast TV News today is back after this.
6:13 on this dreary Wednesday morning. Here's the FH Fur Cam in Cambridge, 66. Looks like you're picking up a little bit of light rain, and you've got some fog as well. So limited visibility, lots of water from all that rain we picked up last night. So take it slow on the roads. Otherwise, the trend is for, well, lighter rain. In fact, across much of Sussex County, no rain right now. Still could be looking at a little bit of drizzle from Salisbury towards the coast, and maybe a few showers for the eastern shore right now. But the heaviest rain is to the east and now moving to our north as well. But I think we will see a little break in that activity for today. Go with the XL coffee. You have to. It's a little stressful. It's wet out there. You have to drive with caution. 78 with some more showers and storms possible into the afternoon and some peaks of sun as well.
Bob, new this morning, Delaware and Maryland attorneys general are joining a coalition of 19 attorneys general in taking action against the Trump administration. The group filed 2 lawsuits accusing FEMA and the Department of Transportation of pressuring states to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement or risk losing funds. The group argues that these new funding conditions are unconstitutional and will damage the trust between law enforcement and immigrant communities.
Also new this morning, DENREC is working on the 2025 Delaware Wildlife Action Plan on native wildlife through the next decade. Key areas of focus, the state's list of species of greatest conservation need, which protects those dealing with declining populations and other issues. For the first time, the list will include more than 300 plants, raising the total number needing protection to over 1,000. There will be public meetings on this in July and August.
Burger King plans to remodel hundreds of locations this year. The fast food chain is in the process of modernizing its restaurants. USA Today reports Burger King plans to remodel about 400 locations this year and expects to finish remodels at about 2,000 locations by 2028. More than 85% of its U.S. restaurants would then reflect its new modern image with an emphasis on digital ordering.
Google is rolling out a solution to combat annoying text scams that are on the rise across the country. On Tuesday, Google Messages began updates to the scam text detection technology that's on most Android phones. The improved scam detection will be able to spot hoaxes like that common unpaid toll text. According to the Federal Trade Commission, consumers lost $470 million to text scams in 2024.
And looking a little foggy right now in Laurel as the camera is pointing down from the tower, looking through the clouds and the fog as the heavy rain from overnight has now moved to the north, but still dry with caution this morning. Lots of puddles, and pack your patience. We'll continue with this unsettled pattern with more showers and storms the next 2 days, and temperatures warming up too, staying pretty muggy. I'll have your full forecast in 2 minutes.
Time is 6:18, and we are getting a live look at the Indian River Inlet area. And Bob, I know I just saw you a moment ago. You're tracking those rain totals with that round of heavy rain that just moved out.
Boy, was that heavy. You know, we came into work this morning. It was, as I mentioned earlier, a frog choker, just tremendous amounts of rain that were coming down. And Stockley, it looks like picked up the most so far at 1.23 inches. Dagsboro, 8,500. It's a little over 3/4 of an inch in Lewis at 7,600. And then Georgetown and Bethany beats at 7,300. A little bit over a half an inch for Indian River Inlet. And I think there is more on the way. Now, we're getting a little break now into the early early afternoon, but still some widely scattered showers and storms later this afternoon and tonight. That continues through Thursday. Another little uptick on Friday, and still some scattered showers and storms into Saturday. But I think Sunday we finally do start to dry things out. But here's a radar replay showing all that heavy rain that was moving through the overnight hours, and now it's just kind of cloudy and damp and a little dreary, and maybe even a little foggy across Sussex County, back through Wycomico and Worcester counties as well. Still some lingering showers around Cambridge and Vienna on the eastern shore, but the heaviest rain now into Philly, New Jersey, and off of Delmarva right now. So we're getting a break from the rain temporarily, and some of that drier air back to our south and west, but I think there's a lot of fog here too. So I think eventually later today we could see some peaks of sun, as there is one area of low pressure near Raleigh right now with a warm front, and then another area back to our west. So it's basically a big swirl of moisture from the Ohio Valley up the east coast as we see these disturbances from time to time coming up, bringing us those chances for showers. Out the door 65 in Seaford, 63 in Georgetown, Bethany Beach 61, 61 in Rehoboth right now. We had some strong winds earlier along the coast, close to 30 miles per hour, but those winds have backed off quite a bit. Here's Futurecast this morning. Lots of clouds and fog, temperatures into the 60s. And then I think by this afternoon, we will see some breaks in the overcast near 80 in Salisbury, but 60s at the beaches. And with the moisture hanging around, still a chance of showers and storms as we go into the evening hours, widely scattered, and then still a chance of some fog overnight. And by tomorrow morning, we're in the low 60s with some scattered showers, still really unsettled. But I think we'll also see some breaks in the clouds too. So that'll warm us up into the 70s, and I think even some low 80s by Thursday afternoon. Cooler for the beaches, and still unsettled as we go into Friday, especially in the afternoon. A shower or thunderstorm could linger into the evening hours, and then Saturday we have Preakness in Baltimore. It could be a little wet, definitely warm and muggy, and over Delmarva still that chance of evening showers and storms with the cold front, possibly severe weather. We'll have to watch for that. Then finally drying out with a westerly flow on Sunday, but we do have a marginal or low chance of severe weather across parts of our region. Maybe some gusty winds with those storms later on, and we could tack on another maybe half inch to 1 inch of rain on top of what we've already seen as we continue to see on and off showers and storms today into Saturday. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 78 today, 80 on Thursday, and then mid-80s Friday and Saturday, but feeling much warmer with the muggy conditions, and then drier on Sunday, 81, and then drier and even cooler into Monday and Tuesday with mid to upper 70s for highs and overnight lows into the 50s.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, the Back the Blue Caravan will continue its travel across Delaware, handing out snacks and thank you notes to police. The appreciation event began Tuesday. Today, the organization will follow Route 1 and visit agencies in South Bethany, Fenwick Island, Dewey Beach, Rehoboth Beach, State Police Troop 7 in Lewis, and other departments in Sussex County. Drew Sunderland, who's been putting this together for 7 years, says this is the least they can do to say thank you to the people who protect and serve.
We stand behind our law enforcement officers just like they have our backs every day. And they don't get the credit that they deserve, and this is one way that we can show them gratitude.
The Back the Blue Caravan plans to stop at other locations in Sussex County Thursday to hand out more gifts and treats to police stations.
Up next on CoastTV News today, Chincoteague comeback plan. We'll tell you what the town is discussing to add to the area. Don't go anywhere. New strategies are underway for improving Chincoteague. First town leaders are working to register the downtown as a historic Virginia district, and officials are also hoping to join the state's Main Street program, which would give them access to grants aimed at revitalizing the area. Work to establish a registered historic district has been on pause since the 1990s, but now the town's first city planner in decades is picking up where they left off.
I think having the historic district designation will help us with our Main Street designation, just because there's more resources to protect and things that deserve to be revitalized.
And town officials say that a catalog of historic buildings must be compiled and submitted to the state, and someone from the state would then tour the area and establish boundaries before an official designation could be granted. And Matt, it's a rainy day at the beach, but there are stores at the beach, and my parents always said, save your money for a rainy day.
Oh, that's some good advice there.
Gift cards, they're like gift cards for your birthday. Always save it for rain.
You go to the beach towns, there's plenty of fun places to shop and eat. So, Bob, looks like it is one of those
It's a
days
good
that
shopping day.
if you're thinking going to the coast, you might have to be indoors.
Absolutely. And that's not a bad thing. You know, get some food, do some retail therapy. Never a bad thing, and support the local economy. Fenwick Island in Ocean City, lots of clouds today. I think the heavy rain is over for a while. Could see some fog into this evening and can't rule out a stray shower. But when the sun comes out, that UV index will be moderate. Lewis, a high around 70, so not a bad ferry ride up to Cape May. And then by 5 p.m. in Rehoboth, we're looking at some sun, upper 60s. And then Cambridge, the next 3 days, it's kind of, well, cloudy. Better chance of storms as we go through the latter part of today. And then Crisfield for today, we're looking at temperatures into the mid-70s, waves around 1 to 2 feet. Coming up, much more on this unsettled pattern and what the weekend holds in store coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, Middle East diplomatic dilemma. We'll tell you how the president is responding to concerns surrounding a gift from Qatar.
Also, Fenwick fights offshore wind. The town prepares to address the controversy after legal action was filed supporting the project.
Also, Sussex education shakeup. We'll tell you the results of Delaware's school board elections on Tuesday. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
The wet pattern continues for Delmarva. We've seen heavy rain overnight. Not as heavy throughout the day, but still a chance of scattered showers and storms into Saturday. And a warm-up on the way as well. Details coming up.
Sussex School Showdown. 4 contested races in 3 school districts. Results and reaction from Tuesday's school board election.
Strategic Saudi stop, the positive welcome President Trump is receiving as he starts the first foreign trip of his second term.
Coastline controversy continues. Fenwick Island officials set to take on the wind farm project after Delaware's Attorney General joined a lawsuit in favor of building the turbines.
This is Coast TV News Today.
May 14th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And the time is 6:30. Planning for the weekend, which I usually start doing by now. I think it's going to be challenging because we have these on again, off again, showers, rain.
And you were just asking Bob about a Shorebirds game on Friday night. And Bob said, well, it could rain, it could not rain.
So it's going to be a last-second call.
I say you take the chance.
Probably I will.
I think so.
Bob?
I think so.
I know today we just got past that heavy rain, but it's still not going to be great.
Yeah. I think for the Friday evening festivities, bring the umbrella, but you might luck out with no rain. Saturday, a chance of showers in the evening, and then drier on Sunday. But we had that big washout overnight, tremendous amounts of rain, but things are slowly drying out, but still lots of clouds and fog across Sussex County from Salisbury to the coast now. Eastern Shore, you're still hanging on to a few showers, but the heaviest rain is to our east and to our north now, near Philly into New Jersey and heading for New York, as we have, well, a little gap in the rain back to our south and west. That's not saying, we're going to see a lot of sunshine today. We could see a little bit of that, but we're getting a break from the heavy rain with low pressure developing to our west, and that still keeps that shower threat going into this evening. Temperatures in the 60s out the door. We had a lot of wind along the coast, over 30 miles per hour earlier. That will back off. Otherwise, kind of cloudy and foggy this morning, then breaks in the overcast this afternoon with highs into the 70s, with a few showers and storms still possible, flaring up into the evening, and still some showers this morning, especially north and west of Sussex County, and more scattered showers as we head into the evenings. Drive with caution. Watch for lots of water on the roads this morning.
Our top story this half hour, we are getting unofficial results from Tuesday's Delaware school board elections. For Cape Henlopen's District C, it was Patty Mall with the most votes. It was a 3-person race between Mall, Laura Parsons, and Andy Lewis. Mall received about 2,000 votes, followed by Parsons with 1,500 and Lewis with just over 500. Mall says she's planning to focus big on mental health.
My biggest goal is to make sure that our students have advocates, someone that's there for them, especially with our staff too. I really want to make sure we put in a focus on mental health in our district. A lot of our kids are struggling, and we'll make sure we focus on that and make sure that the teachers have resources so that they can help our students.
And her term will run through June 2028, and District B seat was uncontested, with incumbent Jason Bradley automatically being reelected.
And it appears incumbent Bill Collick will keep his at-large seat. Collick has worked in education for nearly 5 decades and has served as the at-large board member in Cape since 2020. Unofficial results show Collick defeating Chris Lovenguth by more than 2,000 votes.
And there was one contested race in Woodbridge. We're going to take a look at those results. This is for the district's at-large seat. And Timothy Banks defeated LaToya Harris. Banks received over 77% of those votes.
Also, some new faces on the Indian River School Board. Unofficial results show Lisa Hudson Briggs winning the race for the District 1 seat. It was the only contested race. District 1 includes Georgetown. For District 2, Jerry Penn Jr. ran unopposed. Michelle Parsons was also unopposed in District 4.
The latest in the ongoing battle of construction of a wind farm off of our coast. This morning, the Fenwick Island Environmental Committee is having its first meeting since the attorneys general in Delaware and Maryland filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, arguing the president's executive order to freeze all permitting for both offshore and onshore wind projects is unconstitutional. Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan and Maryland State Senator Mary Beth Carrozza recently went to Washington to oppose the wind farm, hoping that freeze stays in place.
New overnight, after spending 35 years in prison for the murder of their parents, Lyle and Eric Menendez now eligible for parole.
The brothers originally received life sentences for shooting and killing their parents at their Beverly Hills home in 1989. CNN's Maribel Gonzalez shows us the impacts of this new ruling.
After months of hearings and court filings, a judge resentenced Eric and Lyle Menendez from a term of life in prison with no possibility of parole to now 50 years to life in prison with the possibility of parole. The stunning decision coming after the first day of a hearing where family members testified about the brothers' rehabilitation in prison and support for their release. While the judge said the murders committed by the brothers were horrific, he took into consideration the rehabilitation work the two have done while in prison, including starting a support group for disabled and elderly inmates. Take a listen to what the brothers' attorney said after the judge's ruling.
Because it's 50 to life, they're immediately eligible. On a day like today, that redemption is possible.
The LA County DA did not speak after court today, but DA Nathan Hochman has been very vocal against resentencing at this point. Take a listen to what he said earlier on Tuesday.
Our position is not no or it's not never, it's not yet. And the reason we said that is that the Menendez brothers have failed to come clean with the full extent of their criminal conduct, their cover-up, their lies, and their deceit over the past 30 years.
The parole board is already scheduled to have a hearing on June 13th as a separate bid by the brothers. Reporting in Los Angeles County, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
And we're now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. While President Trump continues his Middle East trip, Democrats back home are reacting to Qatar's gift of a luxury jumbo jet. In fact, Trump is visiting Qatar today. Controversy is still brewing over the Qatari government's not yet finalized offer of a luxury jet gifted to the Pentagon to serve as Air Force One, then transferred to the Trump Presidential Library at the end of his term. Also hanging over the trip, major real estate projects the Trump Organization, led by the president's sons, is developing in the countries he's visiting.
I thought it was a beautiful gesture. Now, there are those that say we shouldn't be accepting gifts to the Defense Department, and I would say only a stupid person would say that.
There are lots of issues around that I think will attract very serious questions if and when it happens.
The Senate's top Democrat, Senator Schumer, vowing to put a hold on all judicial nominees until the Attorney General testifies about the gift's legal questions.
Got a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Submarine Surrender Remembrance will tell you how Delaware's coast played a part in bringing forth the end of World War II.
Also, shutout for Sussex Central, the big inning that propelled the Golden Knights to an out-of-conference win. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
We salute Captain Jonathan Nordstrom. After nearly 30 years in the fire service, Captain Jonathan Nordstrom has retired from the Dover Air Force Base Fire Department. His journey began with 4 years of service in the U.S. Air Force at Dover Air Force Base, followed by a distinguished career as a firefighter, EMT with the Department of Defense, serving in Colorado, Florida, Virginia, Maryland, and ultimately returning to Dover. In retirement, he plans to share his passion for surfing through teaching and continue creating artwork showcased across the Eastern Shore. We salute Captain Nordstrom for a lifetime of service, dedication, and creativity.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, Go to CoastTVSalutes.com.
Dandelions, a bright yellow warning that now is the time for prevention because crabgrass and clover aren't far behind. Hillside Lawn Service has been making lawns around the Chesapeake healthier and weed-free for nearly 30 years. From soil to trees, grass and weeds, Hillside's certified agronomists test your soil, apply exactly what it needs and nothing it doesn't. Their high-efficiency formulas help protect our waterways. Switch to Hillside now and get $25 off their annual maintenance program. Call Hillside Lawn Service for your free assessment.
It all started with a food truck and a dream of bringing excellent street food to our community. That dream became Tiki Jack's as we know it today. From mouth-watering street tacos to our signature sandwiches and street-inspired entrees, Tiki Jack's is the ultimate destination for comfort food by the shore. Whether you're dining out with family or looking for a fun night out with friends, stop by Tiki Jack's of Rehoboth Beach today for all your street eats and brews.
Welcome to Farmhouse Pet Lodge, your pet's home away from home. Our state-of-the-art secure lodge offers exceptional care for dogs, cats, and other pets. For daycare or boarding with private suites, custom food prep, UV air filtration, centralized disinfection, and 24/7 care. Your pet will be safe, healthy, and happy. Book now and get 10% off your first stay. Ask about our grooming services and tailored training programs. Give your furry friends an amenity-filled vacation at our family-owned, conveniently located Farmhouse Pet Lodge.
One moment you're riding, the next you're flying. A moment that changes everything. In the middle of fear and confusion, one sign gives you hope. When life takes a sharp turn, we're already on your side, literally.
And that's when the Law Office of Trap Nickel jumps in.
We gear up for justice so you can recover, reset, and rebound. If you've been injured, don't let someone else's mistake derail your life. Get the justice you deserve.
The Law Office of Trap Nickel. Your priority is our priority.
It is 6:40 on this overcast Wednesday morning. Tullen Razor Cam showing, the gray slate skies, but the heavy rain is gone. But we'll be in the 60s this morning. You're seeing some breaks in the overcast now, but I think it's pretty much really socked in with the clouds, the fog, the wet roads. Salisbury to the coast, Eastern Shore, still a few light showers for you with the heavier rain now north and east of Delmarva. So I think we will get a break for a while from the steady rain, but still that chance of showers as we go into the afternoon. I'm not saying forget it on the golf course, but I'm saying not so good. Soggy conditions out there, so golf at your own risk. Umbrella giveaway winner today is Dennis Jones from Milton. Congratulations to him from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Bob, Salisbury is gearing up for its third Friday festivities, and with it comes some road closures. The city says starting at 2 p.m., Main Street from West Market Street to Division Street will be closed, and Division Street from Route 50 to the Circle will also be closed off to drivers. This Friday's event features local art, music, and vendors in the downtown area centered around a pet theme.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Sussex Central Baseball is one of a few local squads destined for a deep state playoff run. And as they try to shore up their seeding, they took on Caravel last night. Sussex Central hosting Caravel, the Golden Knights hope to pick up their third straight win, and they would start strong in this one. In the bottom of the first, Jace Jarman at the dish. He goes the opposite way. As this one floats, it would drop. He'd take an extra base as that one gets down. He'd score later in the inning thanks to a ground out by Dylan Briggs. 1-0 Sussex Central. Bottom two, Chet Fermanek rips one to right to bring in the second run of the game. 2-0 Golden Knights lead very early on. Later in the inning, Jarman says goodbye baseball. A 3-run jack blows this one open and makes it a 5-0 ball game. He cannot be stopped in this one. Bottom five, Central up 6-0, and they can do no wrong on this game. Luz Perfetti bloops one into right. It gets in another run home. Make it 7-0 Golden Knights, and that'll do it. Sussex Central wins it in 6 innings, 10-0. The Golden Knights wrap up the regular season this Saturday against William Penn. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day, everyone.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 5, we got Shorebirds doubleheader game 1. The Birds face the Fredericksburg Nationals. 8 p.m. it's game 2, 10:30 the final score. And for your DSN Plus exclusives, 4:15 Delaware High School softball when Delmarva Christian visits Delmar At 7, Archmere Academy takes on Cesar Rodney in boys lacrosse.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's a look at what's coming up this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
We hope you're having a good day so far, but we can make it even better when you join us for some Coast Life at 4 o'clock. Let's see what's coming up today on the show. We are headed to the Art League of Ocean City to see what's new for the month of May.
Plus, May is really when people start to take field trips around here, especially in Lewis. We're going to check in with the Lewis Historical Society and really see what they are all about when these kids are out on field trips, how they can learn about what's going on here on Delmarva.
That's right, some great storytellers there. For that, I know. And we also know that our friends at Preston Automotive Group are always finding ways to give back to the community. They've got an event coming up this weekend, and you don't want to miss the details. All that fun is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
We're seeing lots of clouds out there, some fog, some haze. It's kind of damp on the gutter helmet cam right now. The heavy rain has pushed to the north and east. I think we are going to dry it out for a time today, but still pretty unsettled through a part of the weekend and kind of warm and muggy as well. I'll have your full forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 6:46, and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis this morning. And Bob, it's been a rainy morning. We're not seeing a beautiful sunrise this morning, sadly. I usually look forward to that. Hopefully another time this week. But yeah, definitely wear your rain jacket today.
Maybe tomorrow. We'll see the beautiful sunrise, Elisa. Not today. We've got a lot of gray skies. The heavy rain has now pushed to the north and east, but boy, was it a soaking. A frog choker overnight. Stockley, 1.23 inches, 85 hundredths at Dagsboro, a little over 3/4 of an inch in Lewis, and then 73 hundredths in Georgetown and Bethany Beach. IR Inlet, 55 hundredths, and it was definitely soggy coming into work this morning. And we're still looking at widely scattered showers and storms, I think, as we go through this afternoon and this evening into Thursday. Friday, still that chance of scattered showers and storms. And I think that could linger into Saturday, although the chance is lower. And then I think we dry it out Sunday into Monday as well. But certainly a soaker overnight, but that rain has moved away. Now we're just looking at overcast skies, some fog, and really be careful on the road. Still lots of big puddles. It's still wet out there, so take it slow. But it has dried out as far as the rain in Sussex County from Salisbury to Ocean Pines, Cinnapunxet, Eastern Shore. Still a few light showers around Cambridge and up towards the Bay Bridge, and then heavier rain near Philly up into New York. And then we're seeing the heavier rain offshore. But we're getting a break from Delmarva to the south and west into Virginia. So we do get a break from the steady rain for several hours. However, we still have spinning low pressure across North Carolina, and with the proximity to that could fire up some more showers this afternoon. And then another low across the Ohio Valley, kind of keeping this unsettled pattern going for a few days as we have temperatures in the 60s out the door. The winds were pretty high this morning, and they were gusting over 30 miles per hour at the coast, but they have been backing down. And I think the winds will calm down for a time as we go through time along the beaches. But 60s this morning, lots of clouds and fog. I think we will see some breaks in the overcast this afternoon. Maybe 80 in Salisbury, but 60s at the coast. And we could fire up a shower or a thunderstorm as we go into the evening hours. Maybe some gusty winds with those. Otherwise, overnight tonight, kind of foggy and cloudy into the morning hours, and then still some scattered showers around as we go into your Thursday. And if we do get the afternoon sun, we're looking at temperatures in the 70s and 80s, and still that chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. And that lingers into Friday as well. Still a lot of moisture hanging around. So into Friday evening could see some showers and storms. We have Preakness and Baltimore on Saturday. That could be a little wet. It will be warm and muggy. Still a chance of showers and storms over us. And with a cold front, the possibility is there maybe for severe weather before it dries out on Sunday. There is a low chance of severe weather for a good chunk of Delmarva today. Maybe some gusty winds with those storms this evening, and we could tack on another maybe ½ inch to an inch of rain on top of what we've already seen. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 78 today, on and off showers and storms. That essentially continues into Saturday and warming through the 80s beginning Thursday, middle 80s Friday and Saturday, but feeling much muggier with the humidity. We're feeling like summer for sure. 81 on Sunday, and then cooling into the 70s early next week and drying out.
Thank you. May 14th is a significant date in history along the coast. 80 years ago, a Nazi German submarine surrendered to Allied forces off the coast of Lewis. A U-boat 858 was one of 6 German subs sent to attack the North American coast in the closing months of World War II in Europe. 4 of those subs were sunk in the early stages of that mission. Another was sunk near Rhode Island. 858 first surrendered off the Canadian coast on May 10th. The fate of the submariners played a big role in the decision to order the sub south to Lewis for a second surrender in American waters.
The Germans were taken to a prisoner of war camp. It's why they surrendered to the Americans. They wanted to go to an American prisoner of war camp and not be sent back to Germany by the Canadians.
And for several weeks after the surrender, U-858 was docked at what is now the Cape Henlopen State Park fishing pier, where it was toured by people living in Lewis and school children. Later tonight, our special story, Surrender at Sea. It looks at how Delaware played a role in the final days of World War II. You can catch that during Coast TV News at 6.
And the time is now 6:51, so we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Today's coastal pet of the day, on fire and fuego, Elisa. How about that? On your screen, that's Blaze. Blaze is 10 months old, was submitted to us by Barbara in Georgetown.
I have a feeling Blaze has a lot of energy at 10 months old, and we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
That is where you'll find the QR code, top center. Scan it, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:54, and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. The latest in the ongoing battle of construction of a wind farm off of our coast. This morning, Fenwick Island's Environmental Committee is having its first meeting since the Attorneys General in Delaware and Maryland filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, arguing the president's executive order to freeze all permitting for both offshore and onshore wind projects is unconstitutional. Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan and Maryland State Senator Mary Beth Carrozza recently went to Washington to oppose the wind farm, hoping that freeze stays in place. And you're looking at Delaware's Stockley Center, just south of Georgetown. The Department of Health and Social Services is conducting a feasibility study to revitalize the property, which includes 23 buildings, home to multiple state agencies. It will also house Sussex Central High School and Delaware State Police Troop 4. On Tuesday night, the public had the chance to share feedback on the campus's future. Suggestions included adding inpatient rehab facilities and shelters for domestic abuse victims. You can submit your own comments and suggestions until May 31st.
In Milford, officials making a case to raise pay rates. The Public Safety Committee is set to discuss this increase for a police captain and 3 lieutenants. It comes after Police Chief Cecilia Ash says a study on staffing and pay scale revealed the job descriptions of these positions were outdated. Chief Ash says the new job descriptions reflect accurate responsibilities and thus a pay increase should be considered.
And at 6:56, we're going to take another look at our forecast that's not as beautiful as we would want it to be.
It is not.
No.
It is not beautiful, Bob. Yes. We got a Wednesday full of wet weather. Bottom line.
Yeah, but as Elisa mentioned yesterday, all this rain, keeps the pollen down. It makes the grass grow. The farmers are happy. So, hey, it's definitely a good thing. But all that heavy rain has now basically pushed to the north and east of Delmarva. Still seeing those showers around Dover. If you're headed towards the Bay Bridge, Annapolis, over towards D.C. and Baltimore, still wet there, and wet up in Philly and Jersey. But we do have a little break from the rain from Delmarva to the south and west. So it's a little damp and dreary this morning, but I think the steady rain is over for a while. Otherwise, lots of clouds, temperatures in the 60s. And this afternoon, still a chance of a few showers, maybe some thunderstorms this evening, some peaks of sun, and temperatures into the mid-70s. I'm going 78 with some sunshine and still that chance of a shower or storm later today. Paul Davis 10-day forecast up to 80 on Thursday, and we're still looking at those isolated to scattered storms. In fact, that continues the rest of the weekend to a part of the weekend. 85 on Friday. Still could be a little stormy Saturday afternoon, 87. So keep that in mind for your weekend plans. Sunday, we start to dry things out. Mostly sunny, 81. And then after that, I think as we go into next week, drier, mix of sun and clouds, and temperatures into the 70s for highs and lows in the 50s.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV Midday at 11.
Boy, with this rainy weather that we have, good idea to get the
Absolutely.
Coast TV First Alert Weather app. You can track the hour-by-hour conditions. Download that. And until Coast TV News Midday at 11, have a great Wednesday, everybody.